What's up? How you doing? It's your boy Carcino here, live for Screen Fiend, as we give you the review of the Kingsman, the Golden Circle. Now, what the Kingsmen are, in case you didn't see the first Kingsman film, the Golden Circle is the sequel to the first. It's like the British spy agency. The first one, Kingman's Secret Service. This is the sequel. I wasn't really fond of the first one. Everybody was blown away by Matthew Vaughn's Kingsman. I mean, visually, it looked nice. It had great action scenes, great action shots. Some of the villains were not the usual type of villains we've seen. You know, the girl with the blades. I mean, all of that was great. I mean, Samuel Jackson character didn't really live up to what I thought it should really be for that character. As far as seeing him, I don't think he played that character well. As far as the list, it was terrible, and the whole church scene, everybody seems to like it. It was shot very well, but it was just very excessive and over glorifying. But people loved it. People thought that movie was incredible. It's like, this is James Bond for us, the modern age people who's not 1,000 years old. This is for us. This is our James Bond. And you know what I say to that is are you nuts? um, James Bond would never be this. And it's a lot more substance in those films. Now, this is like the escape film. And what they actually did in this film was make a better movie than the first one. You see, it takes a movie like this to point out the facts that maybe the first one wasn't as good as we thought. Because it's an exact same movie. It's the exact same movie, just done differently. Slight things, slight changes were made. The actual other characters are more interesting. That is it. The villains, interesting. More gadgets, more different weapons. And in this film, the Kingsmen are being targeted by Julianne Moore, who's the villain in this film, and she's like out to kill the entire Kingsmen, blow up their facilities, everything. Agents are dead to the point where they're decimated. So they need to call help. And the United States have their own Kingsmen called the Statesmen. So they team up with the Statesmen to go fight Julianne Moore. Good enough reason. But the Statesmen, what's different about them, they don't use the same type of weapons that the Kingsmen would use. They use their own different type of weapons, and they're pretty interesting. The bar scene is probably the best scene in the movie. There's a lot of scenes that's made just like that scene you guys love in the church. A lot of scenes just like that. And you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. Because you loved it so much, they gave you a lot of it in this one. But this is why I say it takes a movie like this to realize that the movie that you guys love so much maybe just really wasn't all that great. Once you start looking at the flaws in the sequel, because there are plenty. Um, the flaws is it don't really flow. They brought back Colin Firth's character for what reason? Besides the fact that we just brought him back. People love him, so we brought him back. But Harry, he was just back, and it just made no sense to bring him into the fold. He just He really didn't make any difference in the film. They could have shot this whole movie without him, and it would have been the same exact movie. So, I mean, his character was just, I think, utterly underused in this film. So half of the people going in there wondering, how did he come back? He was dead. I'm like, this is the movies. You should expect it. But by far the best character is the character with the lasso. Manners Mycroft, the man. And that bar scene, the whole bar fight is the best scene in the movie. And I won't tell you the movie, but this movie is watchable. I mean, you can go back and watch it a couple of times. This is 2.5 stars out of 4, but it's a good escape film. You have a good time. You know, it's a like what you liked in the first one. Sure, it's got its flaws. Has a ton of them. But this is what you liked about the first film. You liked all these shots that they took. And the thing about it is the style. It has great style points. That was one thing that the first film had, and that's the same thing that this film had as far as the positives. Just like in Kick Ass, Matthew Vaughn knows how to shoot certain styles. And I felt for this film, he overachieved his job. He gets an A for style points. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the film, and you won't be wasting your money if you go see it. You'll be entertained. It's not a 4-star movie, but it's still watchable. I'm out.